Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Sinyavadi Paśyanty Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Lakshmi Hari Radha Lakshmi Hari Radha. Jaya Prabhu Pada, Jaya Prabhu Pada, Prabhu Pada, Jaya Prabhu Pada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. जय यशोदनन्दन भज जनरञ्जना यशोदनन्दन भज जनरञ्जना यमुनातीरा वनचारी यमुनातीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव बिहारी जय राधा माधव बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदनन्दन भज जनरञ्जना यशोदनन्दन भज जनरञ्जना यमुनातीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव बिहारी जय राधा माधव बिहारी जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टप्रसत श्रीमदेसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की नमाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद शुद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की मायापुर दीप धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगामय की यमुनामय की तुलसी महारानी की श्रीला प्रभुपाद ट्रांससेंडेंटल बुक डिस्कशन प्रोग्राम की श्री श्री राधा रास बिहारी ललिता विशाखा की श्री श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण मान की श्री श्री गौर निताय की श्रीला प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text number 12. Hare Krishna. Touch 1 to 12. हाँ? ये टेबल सही था. मिला? Show him, huh? First time? First time? It's okay. Craddadhānā munayo jñāna-vairāgya-yuktayā paśyanty ātmani cātmānaṁ bhaktyā śruta-gṛhītayā craddadhānā munayo jñāna-vairāgya-yuktayā paśyanty ātmani cātmānaṁ bhaktyā śruta-gṛhītayā. आपके पास मोबाइल नहीं है? मोबाइल में है? देखो. तच्छ्रद्धदान मुनयो ज्ञान-वैराग्य-युक्तया पश्यन्ति आत्मनि चात्मानं भक्त्या श्रुतगृहीतया. Show her, you know, Vedāveda she has.
paśyanty ātmani cātmānaṁ bhaktyā śruta-gṛhītayā jñāna-vairāgya-yuktayā paśyanty ātmani cātmānaṁ bhaktyā śruta-gṛhītayā jñāna-vairāgya-yuktayā paśyanty ātmani cātmānaṁ bhaktyā śruta-gṛhītayā.
बोलिए. Anyone else, ladies? Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada. The seriously inquisitive student or sage, well equipped with knowledge and detachment, realizes that absolute truth by rendering devotional service in terms of what he has heard from the Vedānta-śruti. Purport. The Absolute Truth is realized in full by the process of devotional service to the Lord, Vasudeva, or the Personality of Godhead, who is the full-fledged Absolute Truth. Brahman is his transcendental bodily effulgence, and Paramātmā is his partial representation. As such, Brahman or Paramātmā realization of the Absolute Truth is but a partial realization. There are 4 different types of human beings: the karmis, jnanis, yogis, and the devotees. The karmis are materialistic, whereas the other 3 are transcendental. The first class transcendentalists are the devotees who have realized the Supreme Person. The second class transcendentalists are those who have partially realized the plenary portion of the Absolute Person. And the third class transcendentalists are those who have barely realized the spiritual focus of the Absolute Person. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic literatures, the Supreme Person is realized by devotional service, which is backed by full knowledge and detachment from material association. We have already discussed the point that devotional service is followed by knowledge and detachment from material association. As Brahman and Paramātmā realization are imperfect realizations of the Absolute Truth, so the means of realizing Brahman and Paramātmā, that is, the paths of jnana and yoga, are also imperfect means of realizing the Absolute Truth. Devotional service, which is based on the foreground of the full knowledge, combined with detachment from material association, and which is fixed by the oral reception of the Vedānta-śruti, is the only perfect method by which the seriously inquisitive student can realize the Absolute Truth. Devotional service is not therefore meant for the less intelligent class of transcendentalists. There are 3 classes of devotees, namely first, second, and third class. The third class devotees are the neophytes who have no knowledge and are not detached from material association, but who are simply attracted by the preliminary process of worshipping the deity in the temple, are called material devotees. Material devotees are more attached to material benefit than transcendental profit. Therefore, one has to make definite progress from the position of material devotional service to the second class devotional position. In the second class position, the devotees can see 4 principles in the devotional line, namely the Personality of Godhead, His devotees, the ignorant and the envious. One has to raise himself to at least to the stage of second class devotee and thus become eligible to know the Absolute Truth. A third class devotee, therefore, has to receive the instructions of devotional service from the authoritative sources of Bhagavata. The number 1 Bhagavata is the established personality of devotee, and the other Bhagavatam is the message of Godhead. The third class devotee, therefore, has to go to the personality of devotee in order to learn the instructions of devotional service. Such a personality of devotee is not a professional man who earns his livelihood by the business of Bhagavatam. Such devotee must be a representative of Sukadeva Goswami, like Sutta Goswami, and must preach the cult of devotional service for the all-round benefit of all people. A neophyte devotee has very little taste for hearing from the authorities. Such a neophyte devotee makes a show of hearing from the professional man to satisfy his senses. This sort of hearing and chanting has spoiled the whole thing, so one should be very careful about the faulty process. The holy messages of Godhead, as inculcated in the Bhagavad Gita or in the Srimad Bhagavatam, are undoubtedly transcendental subjects. But even though they are so, such transcendental matters are not to be received from the professional man, who spoils them as the serpent spoils milk simply by the touch of a stung. A sincere devotee must therefore be prepared to hear the Vedic literature like the Upanishads, Vedanta, and other literatures left by the previous authorities or the Goswamis for the benefit of his progress. Without hearing such literatures, one cannot make actual progress. And without hearing and following the instructions, the show of devotional service becomes worthless, and therefore a sort of disturbance in the path of devotional service. Unless, therefore, devotional service is established on the principles of Shruti, Smriti, Purana and Pancharatra authorities, the make show of devotional service should at once be rejected. An unauthorized devotee should never be recognized as a pure devotee. By assimilation of such messages from the Vedic literature, one can see the all-pervading, localized aspect of the personality of Godhead within his own self constantly. This is called Samadhi. Om Jnanatimrindasya Vijnananjana Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhantamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Radha Kanta Namastuti Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Radhareshwari Shubhanuste Devi Namami Haripriye Pancha Kalparabhyascha Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Bhavakebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Vedānta Śruti Gṛhītayā Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna. क्या बाकी लोग सेलिब्रेटिंग क्रिसमस और व्हाट? हाँ? क्या?
December 21st, and today is Tulsi Pujan Day. They don't celebrate Christmas. And today, 25th December from this year, Tulsi Pujan.
तुलसी पूजा.
ऐसा सोशल मीडिया में बहुत स्प्रेड होता है.
Afraid of the spread of Christmas. This week
Okay, last week we were discussing a very important verse. Vadanti tattva-vidas tattvaṁ jñānam advayam brahmeti paramātmeti bhagavan iti śabdyate. Right? The absolute truth is known as Brahman, Paramātmā and Bhagavan. So, Bhagavan is the most important aspect. That is the ultimate perfection of knowledge. To understand that Krishna is a person. A small exercise we will do. You can discuss amongst your two people each. Did you get the mercy of Krishna? If you think that you got the mercy of Krishna, what are the symptoms? हो गया? हो गया? Done? First, who can tell? Subhash ji?
If you have money and if you give a donation to the micron, mercy
That is the mercy of Krishna. Okay. Anyone else?
Prabhuji, like coming to ISKCON, like getting opportunity to meet people like you is like the mercy of Krishna.
Very good.
And hearing the Bhagavatam like and from the Gita lectures, it is the mercy of Krishna.
Yeah. Anyone else? Ladies? What is your name? Purna. Do you think you got the mercy of Krishna? Huh?
Yes.
Tell. Why?
Firstly, being here is really great because I was looking for classes for Rupa since so long, and today I just met her and she told me that I'm going to classes which are for Rupas. I'm meeting people in my life which are really as spiritual as me. I'm getting very good company from others. My lot of works has been stopped for a lot of time and all are working. And I'm so grateful, I'm so happy. Thank you.
Very nice. Chalo, Ankita Sutar. Bolo, you got the mercy of Krishna? Hey, आपका नाम है अंकिता? You forgot your name or what? She's in ecstasy, you know.
Hare Krishna. ISKCON से मतलब जुड़ना ही वासी है क्योंकि इससे पहले बहुत से क्लासेस अटेंड किए थे लेकिन जो प्रॉपर अंडरस्टैंडिंग है नॉलेज है मतलब प्रभुपाद ने जी जो पाठ हमें दिखाया है वो ISKCON में आने के बाद ही मतलब पता चला है तो बहुत मस्ती प्रभुपाद जी की.
Anyone else? Mataji's? Ah.
Prabhuji, I don't know how I should share. Today morning there was a bhajan going on, Jai Radhe Jai Krishna Jai. So I started crying very like so I don't know, it is not so Krishna because in a lot of bhajans welcome the Thakur, Bhakti-Vinod-Thakur, they write in the bhajans and then there are pop-ups and all that went in my heart. When I started crying and weeping and all, so I was weeping my eyes started later on burning like anything. So, and I started missing Vedānta like anything. And she really felt it, so I don't know if it's mercy or not. Just like that.
Hare Krishna. So, yeah, AGS, you got the mercy of Krishna?
experience in life, I've been able to overcome somehow. So I think in my own way, it's not impossible, but it was here to now Mr. Prabhupada and the devotees. So I think I got some mercy over the years.
Okay. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. See, all we assembled here together discussing the great topics of the Bhagavatam, which is nothing but Krishna. So this itself is an mercy of Krishna. Otherwise, we can get this access to this knowledge.
Yeah.
It's very cool. So we are one of very few that means we are definitely we said Krishna. And the devotees of Krishna is more or less similar to Krishna. So I would say in my personal life, I have not gone to many institutions to learn this, but the first time I came to this institute, that is all because of Rupa Prabhu. So this is, I got it with a first hand, the greatest institute, which is Mr. This is definitely a mercy of Krishna. That is what I always make it thankful to.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. All are correct, but the answer that I am expecting I didn't get. Huh? Yeah? Yeah? Yeah, first give it to her.
Krishna is present with all of us at all times, whether we are happy or unless we are in the trouble. So he's accompanying us as a super soul. So he's always guiding us what to do, what we should not do, and whenever there is any problem, he always helps. Whenever I have any financial problem, then Krishna automatically makes arrangements for everything. So if I play gone, if I thought that I do śruta-gṛhītayā, suddenly money came into my account.
और एक बार करना, आपका करना.
Unexpected पैसा आ जाता है.
हाँ.
I just told him, see, if you contact my daughter, if my daughter doesn't give, I will give you 100 books.
आप करो अपना अभी इस टाइम. हाँ?
हो जाता है, automatic हो जाता है.
इस टाइम जाओ.
Krishna always solves our problems.
शंकर का हो गया, आप कराओ. या. Yeah. Sarum Bhattacharya. Gopinath Patnaik. Gopinath Patnaik or Gopinath Acharya? Gopinath Acharya.
Whoever knows Krishna,
Yeah. Whoever. Okay. How many of you accept that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Right? So, that is the symptom of somebody receiving the mercy of Krishna. Is it very clear? Huh? So, there is when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he wanted to take darshan of Lord Jagannath first time, when he saw the Lord, he fainted in great ecstasy. Then Sarum Bhattacharya took him to his house. He was so much in deep ecstasy that there was no movement of his senses or anything. Then he checked by keeping a cotton in front of his nostrils, and then small slight movement was there. Then he understood that Mahaprabhu was alive. Then he understood that he is in Mahabhava Prakash, very great ecstasy, like that. And then he was very attracted by the bodily features of the Lord. Then meanwhile, Gopinath Acharya, he is his brother-in-law, wife's brother. So they all came, then Nityananda Prabhu and all they came. So then Sarum Bhattacharya asked Gopinath Acharya, what is his Purvashrama? What is his Purvashrama? Then he said, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So he understood, he took sannyas diksha from Mahaprabhu took sannyas from Keshav Bharati. So they have, Mayavadis, they have 10 types of sannyasis: Puri, Ashrama, Saraswati, Bharati and all. So they say that everything is one, but among themselves, one is superior sannyasi, another is inferior sannyasi. एक कौन सा philosophy है मेरे को मालूम नहीं. If everything is one, how you are greater than? So Sarvam Bhattacharya was saying that because he belonged to Bharati Sampradaya, so Saraswati Sampradaya is considered the highest. Right? We have Jayendra Saraswati, we have famous Chandrasekharananda Saraswati. So this Chandrasekharananda Saraswati is a very famous, Kanchi. My father also met him and all. Very famous. They say in Andhra they say living God. Very famous Chandrasekharananda. Very simple. Kanchi. Of course, he is no more. Anyway, so then Sarvam Bhattacharya said, I should reinitiate him and then elevate him to higher ashrama sannyas. Right? Gopinath Acharya became very angry that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He doesn't depend on your reinitiation or ashrama and all that, which sampradaya sannyasi he was and all that. Then there is some argument took place between them. Then Gopinath Acharya said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, incarnation of Krishna. Then his disciples, they said that in Kali Yuga there is no Leela avatar of Krishna. That's why he is known as Tri Yuga. Right? Tri Yuga. Then in Kali Yuga, Tri Yuga is true, but he quoting the Prahlad Maharaj's prayer from 7th canto Bhagavatam, he said that there is no Leela avatar in Kali Yuga, but there is Channa avatar, covered incarnation. So it is mentioned that, but Gopinath Acharya said that because you are a dry philosopher, Sushka, so you are a dry philosopher, you don't receive, you do not receive the mercy of Shri Krishna. That is why, how much ever you may try, you will not understand that Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then his disciples, they asked, what is the proof that you got the mercy? Right? Then he quoted a very famous verse. Bolo, Gaurav. Atapite deva padāmbuja-dvayam prasāda-leśānugṛhīta dhīmahi jñānati tattvaṁ bhagavan-mahimno nācānya ekopi chiran vichinman. Right? Atapite deva padāmbuja-dvayam prasāda-leśānugṛhīta dhīmahi. Unless somebody receives a small little mercy, lesh-matra, unless somebody gets the small little mercy of Shri Krishna, one cannot understand that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Others, Nachanya, since for a long time, they may search for the absolute truth, but they cannot find unless they get the mercy of little mercy. So, Sammam Bonam. So, one who understands Krishna, right? In the first class, we have explained what is Sammam Bonam. Right? Krishna is known as Sammam Bonam, absolute truth. So, what is the symptom of receiving some Krishna's mercy? Gopinath Acharya said, because I understand that Krishna is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme. That is the symptom of mercy of Krishna. Then everything else starts. Then all this association coming to ISKCON and associating with devotees, chanting Hare Krishna. Prabhupada said, only by the mercy of Krishna we can chant Hare Krishna. Only by his mercy. So, if we are unable to chant Hare Krishna, that means,
No mercy.
yeah. So, Prabhupada writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita that, all over the world, people struggle to follow the regulative principles. Right? They are very, very addicted to sinful activities. Right? Prabhupada said, Ajamila, for only once he saw, man and woman kissing it, embracing and all. How many times you have seen? Huh? Right? You go to the Juhu beach or Los Angeles airport, mein, first thing I saw was this only. Right? That is in 2004. That is still in India. It's not so advanced at that time. Airport में सामने बैठ के everywhere we see all those things. But हम अजामिला बना नहीं. Right? How many of you become Ajamila? Right? You go rickshaws and all. In Mumbai, it is a very common sight, rickshaws and they make out in the. It's called PDA, public display of affection. Right? Like that. But Prabhupada says, in Kali Yuga, devotees of ISKCON they are blessed because they got the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even though they see all these things, they are not affected. Right? They are not affected. So, Prabhupada says that if somebody is unable to follow 4 regulative principles, that means he lost the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Yeah? Somebody? He lost the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? So, only by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, only by the mercy of Lord Shri Krishna, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we are understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only by the mercy of Krishna, we are able to chant Hare Krishna. Only by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, we are able to follow. So, we are made of mercy of the Lord. Is it clear? So, because of unlimited good fortune, because of performing many pious activities in our last lives, right? We are able to sit here and understand the highest philosophy of vadanti tattva-vidas, tattvaṁ jñānam advayam, brahmeti, paramātmeti, bhagavan iti śabdyate. Yat padāpāṁ bahujanma krishyato dhrutatmabir yogibir api alabhya. So this is a verse from 10th Canto Bhagavatam, where the demigods are very shocked that Krishna is known as Yajna book. Yajna book means in the Vedic sacrifices, absolute cleanliness is required. Absolute. Means even if there is a small mistake also, yajna will be failed. Small mistake. Right? In Mahabharata it is mentioned that yajna havish should not be seen by a dog. Right? We see so many people, we go, Sevadula and all, we go, they go to perform yajnas and all, and then they have dogs at home. Right? Such a useless thing. So if a havish is, any yajna samagri is seen by a dog, that's why dog is not allowed. Not only dog, Sudras. A dog, in a Rajasuya sacrifice, dogs, Vaishyas, Sudras, and fallen Brahmins, they were not allowed near yajna, Rajasuya sacrifice. Even then Rajasuya sacrifice failed, because there was some vastu dosha or whatever. So Krishna, the Brahmins, they have to follow 4 regulatory principles so strictly that even in their minds also they should not fall down. Right? Man mein to hum har din fall down ho jata hai na? Every day we fall down, man mein to. Right? But such a high class Brahmins, they perform yajna. Then Krishna comes and yajna book. Krishna is known as yajna book. Then demigods were shocked, seeing Krishna is eating remnants of cowherd boys. And the cowherd boys are, everybody is bringing their own tiffins and they are tasting. Then from mouth they are taking out, Krishna, Lala, Kanaya, this is very nice, very tasty. You taste it. Acha, tumhara mummy ne banayi? Khilao. And then Krishna is eating. And then the demigods are shocked. Hey, what is he doing? In Vaikuntha, they become shocked, it seems. Narayana, they become, all the Vaikuntha-vasis, they get shocked, it seems. What kind of incarnation is this? Because Narayana is very strict, You cannot go and embrace him or anything, That is why when Gopakumar, when he first saw Lord Narayana, he thought it is Krishna. He is Krishna. Then he started running, Narayana, Keshava. And he was running to embrace Narayana. And then everybody was shocked. Hey Gopakumar, what are you doing? Aparad, apachar. Hey, just go and embrace Lord Narayana. Like that. But Krishna, very tightly, like that. So, kaisa incarnation hai? They feel shocked. All that. So that is why when Krishna jumped in Yamuna, the drops of Yamuna water, she became so ecstatic that some drops of water of Yamuna went and fell in Vaikuntha. And then chanting see how fortunate I am. Did any time Lord Narayana jump in Viraja river? With 4 hands he was swimming. Like that, he was. Anyway, Yatpadapam Shur Bahujanma Krichato Dhrutatmabir Yogibir Api Alabhya. Right? Sa eva Vishayataha Swayam Stitaha Kim Varnato Dishtamato Brajaukasam. Yogis and jnanis, and for millions and millions of years, Bahujanma Krishrata. Krishrata means they perform severe austerities and penances. Not ordinary austerities. They perform severe austerities and penances. Still, they will not get a small light that is coming from the, emanating from the nails of the lotus feet of Krishna. They are very difficult to get a glimpse of that light that is emanating from the lotus feet, nails of the lotus feet of Krishna. Small. But see, look at this. Kim Varnyato. How to describe the good fortune of these Brajavasis? That they are playing with Krishna. Krishna is eating their remnants. Like that. Right? So it is very Bahujanma, so it is a result of, great mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, only one reads Prabhupada books, people understand that Krishna is there is no beating of the bush in Prabhupada books. Right? He is not apologetic. He always remember, Prabhupada never cared for public opinion. What public thinks. Right? In ISKCON, we have become very like that, caring for public opinion. But Prabhupada never cared. What public will think? Let them go to hell. Prabhupada never cared. Right? So we should be like that. we should not think what public will think. Right? Now ISKCON, they are compromising so many things. What public will think. Once one devotee, he went to Bangladesh, one disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. There he was so daring that he was criticizing Ramakrishna and Vivekananda. He was so daring. And people have come to beat him. Because there are big fans, they are all fans of devotees of Ramakrishna and Vivekananda. They were alive at that time. Then he did not budge. They said, apologize. He said, come, let us have a debate. Let us have a debate. Then he had a debate and then he defeated, and then then they gave him a temple. They gave him a place to build a temple there. So it was so daring, like that. Other day I was speaking about Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur when I was mentioning this in the some sannyasi and some senior devotees were sitting and they were aghast what Ramrup is talking, and then they consulted and they cut it from the YouTube lecture. I commented about this, Ramakrishna Paramātmā, Vivekananda, they are so scared. they edited some portion of my lecture and then they uploaded. Like that. Anyway, so people are afraid to talk about demigods and demigod worship, all that. So we should not be afraid, right? So Prabhupada never beat around the bush. So that is the benefit of reading Prabhupada books. Immediately, as soon as you read Prabhupada books, one thing you will see, Krishna is the, दिमाग में घुस जाता है. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mayavadi. Right? You wonder, who is Mayavadi? Who is Mayavadi? Then devotees, they were, that time Prabhupada books were not so much there, only three parts were there. And then Prabhupada was always talking about Mayavadi. Then when I started reading also, I was wondering, who is this Mayavadi? Maybe he's having some horns or some bhayankar. Prabhupada was so, bombarding them. Then so the disciples of Prabhupada were thinking, who is this Mayavadi? Why is this so much speaking against Mayavadi? Then they understood, we are the Mayavadis. Right? We are all Mayavadis. So we should understand. So this aspect, this aspect that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then other Friday lecture, last Friday lecture, I was speaking about this. Mogasha Moga Karmano Moga Jnana Vichetasaha Rakshasim Asurim Chaiva Prakritim Mohinim Shita. Anybody can explain? Friday class fellow? What are the salient points that I have explained? The meaning of this verse is that in the previous verse, Krishna says, Avajananti mamuda manushim tanmashitam parambhavam ajananto mamabhuta maheshwaram. People think that when I appear as a human being in the film, they think that, when I come down, they think that I am an ordinary human being. And then they criticize. Avajananti mamuda manushim tanmashitam. They don't know Parambhavam, my transcendental nature. And then I am the controller of all the living entities. Mamabhuta Maheshwaram. Then Prabhupada writes a very beautiful purport that even if, please note down, even if a devotee who is practicing Krishna consciousness doesn't accept Krishna as the absolute truth, his hopes of achieving transcendental planet will be defeated. Is it clear? There are many, I know some devotees who think that we'll go and merge with the God and all that. Okay? In ISKCON also we find. What is the first point? The first point is, even if a devotee who thinks himself as a devotee, practicing Krishna consciousness, but if he doesn't accept Krishna as absolute truth, his hope of achieving transcendent planet will be defeated. Number two, what to speak of all these, Mayavadis who think that, they are equal to Krishna, and then Krishna's body is, not transcendental, right? Last week we discussed, right? So there are three things, hopes. That mogasha means their hopes, moga karmano, their ritualistic activities, moga jnana, their knowledge. All these three will be defeated. So Prabhupada goes on to say that if somebody thinks that Krishna's body is made of matter, one should not see his face. If you happen to see his face, you must take bath along with the vastra, savastra. Immediately you should go and jump in the river, pond or whatever, Vaitarani. Such a person should be ostracized from ritualistic, from functions and yajnas and havans and all that. And then such people will take birth as in demoniac species of life. Is it very clear? Huh? Purna? Very clear? Is it clear? Huh? One should not think that Krishna's body is made of matter. Well, then we should accept Krishna as the Krishna is the absolute truth, param satyam. Then everything will become easy. Yomam evam asamudo. Bolo, Heji. Yomam evam asamudo. Janati purushottamam sasarva vidbhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Yomam evam asamudo. Right? Mudha means moha. Moha. What is moha? Moha is mean to think that I am this body. Right? With, becoming free from this bodily concept of life. One who understands that Krishna is the absolute truth. He knows everything. And then such a person worships Krishna with love. Right? That is the 15th chapter, 19th verse. Okay? Such a person, chraddadhānā munayo, one who has this faith that Krishna is the absolute truth, right? Such a person becomes equipped with knowledge and detachment. Knowledge, jñāna-vairāgya-yuktayā. Then, bhaktyā śruta-gṛhītayā. He worships Krishna. With the way he heard from the authoritative sources, right? We should not concoct our own process. Always remember, we should follow the process given. That is why devotees are advised to read Bhakti Rasama Sindhu on a regular basis and understand how to practice Krishna consciousness. Whether it is deity worship, whether it is chanting Hare Krishna. When in 1999-98, there was one devotee. He was the BBT in charge. He concocted a new philosophy based on some off-quotes. That we should chant Gauranga's name. There are some statements. Gauranga is very, very merciful. If you chant Hare Krishna, there is an offense. If you chant Gauranga's name, there is no offense. So he introduced a process of chanting Gauranga, Nityananda, 108 times. Some rounds, malas and all. And he was kicked out of ISKCON. So now he has his own movement, became a guru. I always say, Guru. Right? Guru means, a cow, Not guru, huh? He is a guru, like that. So because it is not authorized process, right? All our acharyas, they never recommended to chant Gauranga, 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 Nityananda, Nityananda, right? They have recommended to chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, right? Vallabhacharya, very famous. He was having a little argument with Mahaprabhu and his devotees and all. Then he went and asked Advaitacharya that Krishna is the supreme person. We are all his energy, wives. You know, a wife should not take the name of her husband. You know. Radha Maharaj says, "Hey Deepak, come here." डांटती रहती है, नाम लेके डांटती है आजकल, बट पहले जमाने में वो इन महाराष्ट्र देश से मिस्टर है ना, हमारा मिस्टर, हाँ? कन्नड़ा में क्या बोलते हैं मिस्टर? हाँ हाँ, अहो, मिस्टर नहीं, वही मिस्टर बोलते हैं, हाँ? हमारे मिस्टर, हाँ ऐसे ही बोलते हैं। हाँ हाँ जी। हाँ, बबलू की पिताजी, हाँ? यूपी में बबलू की पिताजी ऐसा बोलते हैं ना, हाँ हाँ। Anyway, so why, you know why? Because आयु कम हो जाता है बोलते हैं, हाँ? पति का। Yeah, yeah. नहीं, otherwise they'll be happily calling. Anyway, so why you are chanting Hare Krishna all the time? You are taking a husband's name all the time. Then I don't know so much. You ask Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the first duty of a wife is to follow the instructions of her husband. So our husband told to chant his names all the time. That's why we are following his instruction. Then Vallabhacharya got stuck, you know, he was defeated thoroughly. Right? In the same way, we should, everything Prabhupada said, everything, you know, I have given all these things. Little bit deviation, everything will be destroyed, Prabhupada said. And then we have seen it in ISKCON, right? Big sannyasis, gurus, they fell down because they did not follow instructions of Srila Prabhupada. So be careful. Bhaktyā śruta-gṛhītayā. You know, we should be very, very careful to follow as we hear. As we hear. You know, don't concoct anything new. You know, we are not capable of concocting or, you know, introducing a new method. Right? In Western countries, there is a certain group of devotees. They have introduced, people are coming, new people are coming, they will not understand Sanskrit. So they have translated all these samsara davanala, Guru Puja, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya, then all this Sandhya Arti, Tulsi Arti into English. And they, instead of singing, you know, all these Sanskrit prayers, they have started singing English prayers. Huh? And then somebody introduced that Anyway, should I say it or no? It is very famous, notorious in ISKCON that time. So they, instead of 108 beads, they have introduced small malas, 16 beads. Anybody come across? Did you receive? AG?
No.
16 beads wala, they started distributing. All kinds of, things in ISKCON. So they all fell off. Very, very careful. Be careful. Bhaktyā śruta-gṛhītayā. Read Prabhupada books very carefully. Then follow the instructions very carefully. Suppose somebody like me, your leader, introduces a new thing. Go and check with Prabhupada books. And tally. Otherwise, you can question. Don't blindly follow anybody, because we are also bound to make mistakes, right? Just because I am sitting here and teaching Bhagavatam, it doesn't mean that I am above committing mistakes. Don't forget that, right? I cannot introduce any new thing. If I introduce a new thing other than what you hear, then you should check with Prabhupada books and question me, Prabhuji, why are you saying this? Not that, just because I am teaching you, then I am unquestionable. I cannot be questioned. So don't think like that. Bhaktyā śruta-gṛhītayā. As you heard from the literature, you must follow the. Otherwise, Prabhupada says, it will create havoc in the society. Shruti, Smriti, Puranadi, Pancharatrika, Vidimbina. Aikantika, Harer Bhakti, Utpatevena Kalpate. Right? Utpat, means it will create havoc in the society if you don't follow Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? Puranas and all that. So, Prabhupada in the purport described three kinds of people, right? Three kinds of people. Neophyte devotees, Madhyamadhikaris, second class devotees, and first class devotees, right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when the devotees from Kulina Gram, they have every year they used to bring silken ropes for pulling the chariot. Then Satyaraj Khan, he asked first that what is the duty of a grahastha? What is the duty of a grahastha? Then Mahaprabhu said, serving the Vaishnavas. Then Satyaraj Khan asked, who is a Vaishnava? What did he reply? One who chants Krishna's name even once, he is a Vaishnava. Then again, second year, they asked the same question. What is the duty of a Vaishnava? Then Mahaprabhu said, serving the Vaishnavas. Then Satyaraj Khan asked, who is a Vaishnava? One who is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra Nirantara, always. Right? And then third year again he asked. Then third year he replied that one whose face you see, you immediately chant Hare Krishna. Then he is a Vaishnava. So Prabhupada explains, very beautiful purport Prabhupada wrote, that first one is neophyte, third class devotee. Second one is second class devotee, Madhyamadhikari, Nirantara. He is always chanting Hare Krishna. Right? And then third one is, the first one, he is for, because it is his duty, that is why he chants. Second one, because he found, he found attraction, he developed attraction for the holy name, he chants. Nobody is forced to chant Hare Krishna. He is not forced to chant Hare Krishna. Then third one, as soon as you see him, you chant Hare Krishna. Right? That is a first class devotee. Right? So, how many of you are belonging to first class? Madhyamadhikari? Madhyamadhikari means 4S. You are first class? Second class. Very good. Thank you. What's your name? Lakshmi. Wow. Very nice. Huh? RJ College. Acha. The second class devotee, he accepts Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He makes friendship with the devotees. He shows compassion for innocent people, and then he avoids envious people. Right? And then another aspect is he has knowledge of the scripture, but he doesn't have so much knowledge that he cannot defeat any opponents. Right? A first class devotee, he doesn't see that, he sees that everybody is engaged in Krishna's service except himself. Prabhupada writes in second canto Bhagavatam that a first class devotee comes down to the second class platform and then preaches, because this preaching is so glorious. Because first class devotee thinks that everybody is a devotee. So he doesn't see that anybody is a non-devotee. So he doesn't feel the necessity of preaching because he is in such a position like that. Right? So another aspect of Prabhupada explaining in first, this purport, that be careful to avoid professional Bhagavat reciters. Right? There are many professional Bhagavatam reciters, in the society, especially they come from Vrindavan and all. They charge, big amounts, and they run their families from the money they earn by reciting Bhagavatam. Right? So there is a verse from Manu Samhita, Brahmana is number 1. Right? And then Kshatriya number 2. Then Vaishya number 3. Sudra number 4. Then Chandala number 5. Right? And then Yavana number 6. Like that up to 10. 10 are there. 10 categories. Chandala, Mlecha, Yavana, all these Abhira, Sumba and all that. 10 Andhra. Up to 10th class. Then who is at 11th class? The most fallen profession, the most degraded profession in the society is one who takes money for reciting Bhagavatam. So if you hear from such people, you will also fall into 11th category. Right? So you don't listen, don't hear all these Murari Bapu, Asharam Bapu, and what is his name? Sadguru to atheist hai wo to. Another famous guy, Gujarat ka. Anyway, so all these people, they charge lakhs and lakhs of rupees. 2 years before COVID, I did Bhagavad Katha. So those devotees, they asked me how much we should, because previously they have, they did Katha and then they have to give so much money. Then they asked me how much we should give to Rupa Prabhu. Then Shubhangi Mataji asked me, they are asking how much you charge. I said 1 rupee. Then they said, I read somewhere that 1 rupee you should not take, 11 rupees you should take. Then I said 11 rupees. Right? They were shocked. You don't want any money? Yeah. So then on the day of Bhagavad Katha, only remuneration I request from all of you is that these 7 days during Katha, please switch off your phones and hear carefully. Right? So don't believe me if you don't. You will not believe if I say this. Because of this, we all felt after 7 days Katha, we all felt transcendental bliss. It was because it was done purely, in the guidelines of Prabhupada and Sukadeva Goswami. Because we are constantly. So if somebody gives on their own something, that is another thing. But you charge money and then you run your family with that money. Prabhupada said, instead of earning money through Bhagavad Katha, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, he was so much against this, these two things, holding Harikathas for money and then chanting Hare Krishna mantra for money, that some of the Goswamis, they hatched a plan to kill Srila Bhakti Siddhanta because of his strong stand against these two aspects, that against Harikatha, reciting Harikatha for money and then reciting the holy names, kirtans. Professional reciters of holy name. In Bengal, there are so many groups. They sing very melodiously. So much emotions and all. Right? Prabhupada said, like Radha Govind Maharaj says, that he was giving one person was giving Bhagavad Katha, and then everybody was crying, but he was not crying. Then somebody asked, everybody was crying, why you are not crying? So they, ऐसा लगता है ये लोग कुछ ज़्यादा दक्षिणा देने वाला नहीं है. उस दिन रोएगा. उस दिन रोएगा. 7वां दिन. Depending on how much दक्षिणा I get. We should avoid, hearing. So what are they? They are actually milk touched by poison, right? Serpent, right? All these Devikinandandas, there is Devikinandan Thakur, na? Thakur, na? He comes from Vrindavan, and then there is he is in Borivali? You are attending or what? Then there is one Murdal Krishna Shastri. Murdal Krishna Shastri. There are so many, Bhagavat, professional Bhagavat reciters. They have so many nice stories to tell. And very, very attractive. Kya bola hai, right? All very attractive. But it is actually milk touched by serpent. Right? We should be switch off the AC, feeling cold. So, hearing all these nice talks and all, it won't help you. It should hear from Prabhupada. In between, they were thinking that, Prabhupada did not speak much about the Krishna Leela and all that. We should go out and hear. There is one very famous personality, Gaudiya Math. He was speaking all very esoteric pastimes and all that nonsense. Then ISKCON people, they have banned all these devotees who are going out and hearing, because they were trying to replace Prabhupada with that person. Right? So we should not. So Prabhupada did not speak all these esoteric pastimes and all, because Prabhupada saw that we are not qualified to hear all those esoteric pastimes. Right? So, but they are there in Chaitanya Charitamrita, 10th Canto Bhagavatam, commentaries and all. So whenever we become qualified, we can hear those pastimes, from a qualified persons. But we should not jump, to immature immaturely to this, thinking that I am a very advanced devotee. Is it clear? Bhaktyā śruta-gṛhītayā. Right? Then atah pumbir dvijasreshta varnashram charavata svanushtasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to caste divisions and orders of life is to please the personality of Godhead. So, there is no need to describe all these things because we don't fall into any of these categories. Right? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. We don't fall. Which category we fall into? We are not even Sudras. Actually, we are supposed to be Shudras. Kalau Sudra, Sambhava. Sudra also, he has many qualities. One of the qualities is, I have described, anybody remembers? One should not cry, one should not lie, one should not become angry. One should forgive, one should produce children according to prescribed rules. One should distribute wealth, one should lead a simple life, one should not be inimical. Right? Anybody remembers? Shubhangi Mata's house. Right? Yeah. So all those, Prabhupada said, everybody should have all those qualities. Sudras, Brahmanas, Vaishyas, Sudra. Everybody should have. Do you have? Right? Sudra also is a big thing. Yeah?
I have a question. You said that we all should be Shudras. What does that mean?
No, Brahmana. In Skanda Purana it is mentioned that Kalau Sudra Sambhavaha means everybody, in order to give birth to a Brahmana child, the parents should follow the principle of Garbhadhāna Samskara. Garbhadhāna Samskara means husband and wife, they combine at one particular muhurta. And then they do puja, samskara, so many things that, they do all that. Like in ISKCON, we call 64 rounds babies. Prabhupada said, before conceiving, they should chant 64 rounds, husband and wife. So 64 round babies. So then a Brahmana child is born. But without following any Garbhadhāna Samskara, if husband and wife, they combine out of lust, such children born out of such a combination are Sudras. So Prabhupada said, we don't know, even Brahmanas also are, if they are following this Garbhadhāna Samskara. So that is why in this age of Kali, everybody is born a Sudra. But a Acharya can convert those people into Brahmana and more than Brahmana into a Vaishnava. Into a Vaishnava. So Prabhupada writes in 3rd Canto Bhagavatam that because of this suspicion that who is a Brahmana, who is a Kshatriya, so everybody is a Sudra. So we cannot actually say who, but an Acharya can decide by seeing the sincerity of a person, he can convert a disciple into a Brahmana. Yeah, Acharya can decide. So this is Prabhupada writes in 3rd Canto, last verse. So it is very important. So whatever duties, whether it is a Sudra or a Mlecha or a Yavana or whatever, whether you are an engineer or a doctor or whatever you may be, Atapumbir Dvijashrestha, you must perform all the activities in such a way that they are pleasing to Krishna. That is the perfection of life. So Prabhupada writes that if you are a scientist, you prove that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead with your knowledge. Right? If you are an artist, you make very nice paintings of Krishna. If you are a very nice singer, you sing very nicely about Krishna. If you are a writer, write about Krishna. Right? Like that, you must, whatever may be your profession, you use that your skills to please Krishna. Right? If you are working, if you are earning money, you give 50% of your income to Krishna. Today we were discussing, somebody asked Prabhupada, a disciple of Prabhupada asked, Prabhupada, I am your disciple, I work outside, but as per your instruction, I am not giving 50% of your income. Will I go back to Godhead? Prabhupada said, no. Bhima Prabhu was saying, no, why don't we ask them, disciples, gurus and all, everybody should ask, give your 50% of your income. Otherwise, then nobody will take initiation. Right? Guru Maharaj karke घूमते रहते हैं. Guru Maharaj says, give you 50%. भाग जाता है. नहीं, बहुत मुश्किल है प्रभु. It's not practical. 50% income, at least, if you don't want to give it to ISKCON, at least you spend by, making congregation preaching programs. Right? So then only, right? So the 3 tyagas are required. What are they? 3 tyagas? Kartrutva tyaga, phalatyaga, and sangatyaga. Right? Kartrutva tyaga, sangatyaga, phalatyaga. Tasmat asakta satatam karyam karma samachara asakto hi acharan karma paramātmeti purushaha. Anybody knows this verse? How many of you know? From which chapter? Nene sahab. Tasmad asakta satatam karyam karma samachara asakto hi acharan karma paramātmeti purushaha. Tasmat, therefore, perform your activities and give the results of your activities to me. Tasmat, give up the fruits of your activities and act accordingly. Those who act in this way, they will achieve Krishna. Paramātmeti Purusha. They will achieve Supreme Person. So Krishna is again and again telling in the 5th chapter, 3rd chapter, that give up, 3rd chapter, give up the fruits of your activities. Right? So 12th chapter, what did Krishna say? Last in that series, what is the last verse in that series? Mayeva manadasva mayi buddhim nivashya. Then atachittam samadhatum na shaknoshmai. What is the last verse? Shreyo hi jñānam abhyāsāt dhyanam visishyate tyāgācchān. Karma phala tyāgācchāntir anantaram. Right? By giving up the fruits of your activities, what you will get? Shanti. Right? So those who are working outside, you must give up the fruits of your activities. Right? The most misunderstood verse in India is Karmanya-vadikaraste ma flesh kadachana. Every Indian knows this verse, but it is most misunderstood. Right? You have right to work, but you have no right to enjoy the fruits of the activity. Just because you have no right to enjoy the fruits, don't be attached to not working. Right? Anybody will say, if you are not giving me salary, why I will work for you? Right? Karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbur Mato asangasva karmani. Don't think that you can avoid doing work. At the same time, you cannot enjoy the. Then, where did Krishna say you are a thief? Lecture है क्या? चक्रवर्ती प्रभु का lecture है? हाँ? Why not? They assemble, na? Huh? Where did Krishna say you are a thief? We are all thieves. वो तो eating sin. Huh? हाँ, इष्टान भोगान ही देवान दास्यन्ते यज्ञभाविता तैर्दतान अप्रदायभ्यो यो भुङ्क्ते तेन एव सः. Krishna is saying you are a thief if you simply enjoy the fruits of your activities without giving it to Krishna and demigods and Krishna, right? So this is very pleasing to Krishna if you give up the fruits of our activities, right? What is jnana? Jnana means right now मैं, मेरा और मेरे लिए. क्या? मैं, मेरा और मेरे लिए. But jnana means it is for Krishna is making me work. It is Krishna's and it is for the purpose of Krishna. What is it? This is jnana. Jnana means Abhi, what concept we have? Hi, lecture is there?
Yes.
Chalo. मैं, मेरा, मेरे लिए. But if you are a jnani, what you will think? Krishna is making me work. It is Krishna's and I should give it to Krishna. Then you are a jnani. What is vairagya? Vairagya means Prabhupada said Krishna, a devotee of Krishna doesn't renounce. He simply announces that everything belongs to Krishna. That is vairagya. Right? Okay. So next Sunday is 31st? We'll have na lecture? I think there is a program also. January 1st. Okay. New Year's Day. Hare Krishna. So lecture prasadam is in Vrindavan Hall. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. We thank Mr. Rupa Prabhu by chanting 3 times Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram.